So let's talk about the day you got on a plane. So you borrowed money from friends.
Oh, many friends, and I didn't pay back for a number of years. But I have a guilt, and this is the first time I'm going to say that I withdrew money from my parents' saving account, all the money. They were saving to buy a car.
So you took their money and borrowed money to underwrite the cost of this trip to come to America.
And the guilt is that when this opportunity came, I never thought, should I take money from my parents or not? I did it.
You just did it.
I did it, yeah. I didn't question myself.
Did you pay him back?
I did it. Yeah, many times.
So you get on an airplane. Why did you bring so few things, so few possessions? Was that pretty much everything you owned, or?
That's correct.
So
and I couldn't afford to buy a suitcase.
So what, did you have a backpack, or?
Backpack.
So you come to the United States and you land in America with $1. So what were your plans when you got here?
Well, $1 was a lot of money to me because my father, as a physician, was making $4.68 or 86 cents, less than $5 a month. And my scholarship was about $1.40. And for a person who never traveled, and especially never took an international trip, I didn't know anything, like you said, Cynthia, about America. I expected to see cowboys. I expected people to smoke pipes. And when I landed to JFK Airport, holy smoke, it was Christmas time. Crying babies and presents, mean coats and good-looking men. And I said, what did I do? I grabbed my backpack, I found a seat, and I was sitting in a chair for 8 hours. And I'm daunted, and I said, what did you do? And once again I said, cannot complain, it's done. Here I am. Welcome to America. What's next?
So, and this was a one-way ticket, so you weren't going to be able to go and see change my mind?
Oh, back then, when you come to United States, you have to have open-end airline ticket. But they give you a window of 3 months, which means that after 3 months being in the United States, my airline ticket would expire, and you have to go back or you have to stay.
Interesting.
And that night, when my ticket was expiring, it was a turning point in my life. I didn't sleep all night. My pillow was wet from tears because I was making the biggest decision of my life. You know, making decisions is difficult, but making decisions that will affect your life once and forever is nearly impossible.
You know, we talk a lot about this in our series, about those moments where we come to that crossroads where a decision we make at that moment will define or change the entire course of our life. And we can look back on several occasions in our life where we go, the decision I made when my brother died to come here, leave Texas, leave my home, and come here and take over his company for my family, changed the entire course of my life. We wouldn't be sitting here today had I not made that decision. So you always look back, and there's certain key points in there where you make a decision, and you have to stand by it. Like it or not, you stand by it. And maybe you can look back and say, maybe you would have tweaked it or been different, but a lot of times those pivotal decisions we make. So when you came to the United States, you actually were going to try to get to California to see somebody that you knew. Who was this you were going to go see?
I didn't know that person. It was a friend of my cousin's friend. Her name is Galina Jones, and she used to work for AAA as an attorney. I was sitting at JFK, and a stranger, good-looking man came to me, and I showed the address, going to California. I drew him a train, and he crossed, and I understood there is no trains. And then I drew him an airplane, and he left me for a few minutes, came back, and brought the price, something close to like $1,300. And I showed him $1. I was so amazed by the price, and I said, here is $1. And he looked at me, and then I drew him a bus, but I was very hesitant. I didn't want it to draw. I was good at drawing. So I drew him a bus, and that's why I never leave my house without a pen and a notebook, because that's what I had in my backpack. And he wrote $168, and I show him $1. And I understood, okay, it's on me, he can afford it. So we take the metro, we get to the bus terminal in New York. He talks to the bus driver. It was a Greyhound bus, and every time I see Greyhound, I have butterflies in my stomach. And here I am going to California.
From the benevolent, do you know who the man is to this day?
I would love to know. I would marry him.
You know, there are fascinating stories about the kindness of one person. We interviewed Christina Bueri about 2 years ago, and in her story, her husband's business was founded from a tip that was given to him from a woman that he was a limo driver, and she tipped him $5,000, and that's how he started his business. It's the same thing. It is the kindness of one person who can change your life, and it's living your life on the pay it forward. You may not know who that is, but you always spend your life giving back, because you never know.
It's absolutely amazing. And, you know, we talk about serendipity. Carl Jung wrote about serendipity. And I do really believe in that. Many of us experience that moment. Or my friend Simon T. Bailey, who wrote an amazing book that I highly recommend, Release Your Brilliance, said the shift. Shift, baby, shift. And I always say, and Simon talks about all the brilliant, I mean, we're born brilliant, okay? Each one of us are just a perfect creation. And in order for us to have a beautiful, happy, rich life, we have it all inside. But we have to tap into the source, which I believe that good fortune, my grandmother would always say, oh, how fortunate you are, good fortune, good fortune. And anything that happens, you know, I make, I don't know, a little pie or something. She was like, oh, perfect pie, delicious. And she said, good fortune, good for you. And I said, grandmother, why do you always say good fortune? It's kind of like a little too much. And she looks at me and she said, you're so fortunate, good fortune. And I start laughing.
You know, but I think that's true.
It's a state of gratitude, and it's not really funny. I mean, she's very sincere about that. She believes in that. And I think once you're in a state of gratitude, you are connecting to the higher source that created you. And we are all sparks of this beautiful source that has no color, no shape, no scent. It's just the vibration, it's the energy. And how you attract, like in this case, the client tipped $5,000. It's not a coincidence, it's a serendipity. And the reason is it was the right place, right time, but also the vibration of energy of two people connected.